Let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever come home from a trip, unpacked your suitcase, scrolled through the photos on your camera, and felt something was just slightly off? Not a disaster, not a horror story, just a quiet sense that it just didn't quite land the way you imagined it would. And then you didn't say anything because we don't criticize travel. We celebrate it, we post it, we filter it, we caption it with words like grateful and blessed and life changing. But sometimes, it can be complicated. Today we're talking about travel regrets people don't admit. Not the obvious mistakes like missing a connection or losing luggage. I'm talking about the subtle regrets, the emotional ones, the ones that sit quietly in the background long after the tan fades. So let's get into it. Overspending is one of the most common, unspoken regrets in travel, and almost nobody talks about it, honestly, because money and ego are generally tangled together. You book the suite because it feels like the right thing to do. You add the premium excursion because it's a once in a lifetime. You upgrade the flight because you don't want to feel uncomfortable. And sometimes those upgrades are absolutely worth it. But sometimes they're not. Sometimes the balcony wasn't even used. The excursion felt rushed. The fine dining restaurant was good, but not transformational. Yet when someone asks how the trip was, you say, "It was amazing." Because admitting that something expensive didn't elevate the experience feels like admitting you miscalculated. The real regret isn't spending the money, it's the realization that more money doesn't automatically create more meaning. Luxury without intention can quietly become inflation of expectation. There is a strange pressure in modern travel to epitomize every second of your vacation, as if you're trying to win an award for productivity. 5 cities in 7 days, every excursion offered, sunrise tours followed by late night shows. You come home needing a vacation from your vacation. The regret isn't that you saw too much, it's that you experienced too little of what you saw. There's a difference between moving through a place and being present in it. And too often people design itineraries around fear of missing something, fear of not maximizing value, fear of wasting time. But the irony is that overfilling a schedule often wastes the most important thing, which is attention. The memories that linger tend to be the unscheduled ones. The slow breakfast, the unexpected conversation, the quiet moment on a cruise balcony watching nothing in particular. And those are usually the first things sacrificed when the itinerary gets aggressive. So this next one is subtle and it's very uncomfortable. Not every trip is booked from inspiration. Some are booked from comparison, from pressure, from a desire to keep up. You see the photos, you hear the stories, you feel like you should be going somewhere impressive too. So you go. But if the motivation is external validation rather than internal curiosity, the experience can feel strangely hollow. You can stand in front of the most iconic landmark in the world and feel disconnected if you're there to prove something instead of to experience it. Travel amplifies what you're bringing into it. If you bring excitement, it's going to expand. If you bring insecurity, that expands too. It's a hard truth people won't always admit. Presence is one of the rarest commodities in modern life, and travel often exposes how difficult it is for us to actually slow down. We photograph sunsets instead of watching them. We document meals instead of tasting them. We rush from activity to activity because motion feels productive. Then we get home and realize we were technically there, but we were not fully there. You cannot recreate a sunset from a cruise deck. You cannot replay a sea day once it's over. Those moments are one-time events. Their regret is not about what you missed geographically. It's about what you missed emotionally. Slowing down feels inefficient in the moment, but it is often what transforms a good trip into a meaningful one. Interestingly, the opposite regret also shows up. Sometimes people protect their budget so aggressively or their energy so cautiously that they end up skipping the very experiences that would have defined the trip. The excursion that felt expensive, the invitation to join new friends at dinner, the specialty restaurant that seemed unnecessary. Risk management is smart, overspending mindlessly isn't the goal. But there's a delicate balance between being responsible and being overly restrictive. Some of the best travel memories are born from slight discomfort, from saying yes when you could have easily stayed comfortable. Regret often lives in those almost moments. Travel is also a magnifier. It amplifies personality traits faster than just about anything else. The person who is mildly controlling at home becomes intensely controlling with a daily itinerary in their hand. The easygoing friend becomes frustrating when they miss departure times repeatedly. The spontaneous partner clashes with the structured planner. Compatibility in everyday life does not guarantee compatibility in travel style, and that can be a shocking realization. Sometimes the regret isn't about the destination or the hotel, it's about the dynamic that unfolds when everyone was out of their comfort zone. Very few people openly admit that a trip sustained a relationship, but it happens more than you might think. Now, this next one grows heavier with time. There are trips people postpone because, work gets busy or money's tight or the timing just doesn't feel right. But life doesn't pause while you are waiting. Your health will shift. Family circumstances change. Energy levels evolve. And eventually, the regret becomes less about where you didn't go and more about who you were when you could have gone. Travel opportunities often have a season attached to them. Some adventures fill your 20s, some fit your 40s, while some require physical ability that isn't permanent. Waiting can be wise, but waiting indefinitely turns into quiet regret. There's a modern twist to all of this, though. You can fully enjoy your vacation until you see someone else's. Their suite looks bigger, their resort looks quieter, their cruise ship looks newer. Suddenly, satisfaction gets rewritten retroactively. Compassion didn't just steal joy in the moment, it reached backwards and altered memory. And that's new, and it's powerful. 20 years ago, your travel memories were shaped by your experiences. Now they're shaped by an algorithm. You can quietly create regret where none originally existed. Travel regrets are rarely about geography. They're about intention, they're about pace, spending decisions, expectations, and who you choose to share the experience with. The goal isn't to eliminate regret entirely. That's unrealistic. The goal is to travel consciously, to ask better questions before booking, to understand your motivations, to align your pace with your personality. Because when travel reflects who you truly are, not who you're trying to impress, regret has very little room to grow. And that's the difference between a trip that photographs well and the one that generally stays with you. And that's it this week. Stay tuned with us for next week's episodes of Travel Secrets with TV's Dave Galvin. We'll see you then.